Introducing the Open Palm Podcast, hosted by Jerome Shaw. Available today on your favorite podcasting platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor.fm, and many more. The Open Palm Podcast, where the host engages his listeners with inspirational messages, motivating themes, and thought-provoking ideas. Topics include: make more mistakes, how much is your value, don't get right, get going, learning to let go, excellence is a habit, and more. Binge listen today. Subscribe today. It's getting excellent ratings. That's the Open Palm Podcast, hosted by Jerome Shaw. You can also find it on YouTube. Make sure you share it with your social networks and connect on Twitter and Instagram at Jerome Shaw. That's the Open Palm Podcast with Jerome Shaw. Available today on your favorite podcasting platforms. Go listen, download, and subscribe now.
What are you motivated by? Pain or pleasure? Today, on the Open Palm, we're discussing pain versus pleasure. And welcome to the Open Palm Podcast, where we talk about inspiring messages, motivating themes, and thought-provoking ideas and topics. If you are new and a first-timer to this podcast, definitely subscribe if you enjoy inspirational content. But my name is Jerome Shaw, and I read a while ago that all of us are motivated by two things. We either move towards pleasure or we move away from pain. We're either seeking out pleasures or avoiding pain. What are your motivating factors? When you find those, you can tap into what makes you move in life. You can figure out how to maneuver and how to engage yourself in an activity. I had to ask myself a while back, when starting this podcast, what were my motivating factors? Now, of course, I've always wanted to have an impact on people's lives. I've always been inspired by others. I find people amazing. The things that we can do as human beings are just incredible. But it still wasn't enough to keep me going, to keep me consistent on this platform, to keep me pushing that positive content at the time that I was doing it. Now, since I know what motivates me, I've been able to tap into that. But before, I had to get creative with my psychology. I had to figure out if I was motivated by pain or pleasure. There are many questions that we can ask ourselves, and like Jim Quick says, he believes that questions are the answer. When you start asking yourself more probing questions, you find that the answers arrive, maybe even quicker than you anticipated. Instead of asking yourself why you must do something, or what happens if I do something, why not switch it? Change the frame. Suppose you ask yourself, what happens if I don't do this? How will my life turn out if I don't pursue my dream? What circumstances will continue to happen or eventually happen if I choose not to dedicate this time to my purpose, to my passion, to my goals, to my ambitions? What will happen to me? What will happen to my family? You know, the time will pass by anyway. Time does not wait for us. You know, we have heard that time is an illusion. But there will be a day that we will not be here anymore. that is definitely real. Whether we pass on from this form to the next, this life will end for all of us. So you who are listening, ask yourself, what is it that will get you going? Will it be pain or pleasure? For me, I had to create a scenario that was painful for me. I had to make it so painful that I had no other option. I had no other choice but to put my energy and time into my dream. Because if I didn't, I would be losing something valuable to me that I had spent time and energy to acquire. You can use this in any instance of your life, in any scenario. Whether it's going to the gym and working out your body. Are you going to the gym for pleasure? Are you moving towards pleasure, towards the woman of your dreams or the man of your dreams? Do you want to be more fit because you enjoy the way it feels? You like having a fit body and you like being healthy? Or are you avoiding pain? Do you look in the mirror and dislike yourself? You don't like who's looking back at you. You don't like what you see. You look in the mirror and you feel weak. You feel like you could be so much better. And you hate the way you feel right now. You dislike the things that have happened into your life or the things that have come into your life as a result of not being strong enough. And you want to correct that. You go to the gym because you don't ever want to be or feel weak again. Are you moving towards pleasure or avoiding pain? One of these will be your determining factor. And as my friend Nick McMahon said on his podcast, Path to Epic, we had an interview recently. And my friend Nick told me that he was mentored by someone who expressed that there is no pleasure without pain and that there is no pain without pleasure. There must always be duality, a contrast. The great equalizer is that if you chase pleasure and go only for pleasure, your life will eventually get painful. And when pain comes to you and all you've known is pleasure, how will you be equipped to handle that pain? But if you reverse this and you choose intentionally to determine what pain you'll go through, and you go through the pain, you get in the trenches and you dig deep. When you encounter pain that way, with intention, on purpose, you may find that on your journey, you will encounter great pleasure. Pleasures that many people are denied. Pleasures that many individuals never get to see in their lives because they were too afraid to face pain. Fear stopped them from finding the greatest pleasures that are available to each and every one of us if we choose to face our fears and go through pain today. The choice is up to you, my friend. Which will it be? Will you avoid pain or move towards pleasure? Either option is an option. It's truly up to you. But you gotta get going. Because time waits for no one. And time will tell when pain or pleasure will make its way to you. Thank you for listening. This has been Jerome Shaw, once again on TOP, that is the Open Palm Podcast here in Lake Elsinore, California. The Open Palm means harmony with the world, understanding our place in the world, and using our skills accordingly, greeting the world with an open palm instead of a closed fist. My friend, I pray that you received a special message from this today, encouraging you to find your motivating factors. Definitely visit my friend Nick McMahon's podcast and Path to Epic, that is Path to Epic, where you can find much inspirational content. But while you're on this podcast and while I have you listening, if you enjoy these messages and you gain value and you resonate, I would invite you to become a supporter by opening your browser to anchor.fm/jshaw and supporting the podcast there. You will be promoting positive podcasts like this one. And also, it is much appreciated, my friend. Even becoming a patron on my new Patreon website is appreciated. And you can do that at patreon.com/Jerome Shaw, where I post content that is exclusive to supporters that I do not post anywhere else. As always, my friend, have a blessed day or night, wherever you are. Take care.